Okay, in this section I'm going to show how to use synthetic substitution to solve a problem like this. Find p of 2 when you're given p of x equals x cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 1. Now prior to this, you would probably rewrite this equation placing a 2 in each place of the x and then figure it out. But synthetic substitution is an easier way to substitute the 2 in and get the answer. And here's the easier way to do that. Just like we were doing in division on the section before this. Put the 2 in the little box here. Now we're going to list the coefficients across the top. Do you know what they are? A 1, a minus 3, a 1, and a minus 1. Now double check. If the exponents did not go down in decreasing order, if there was a missing exponent along here, I would have to have a 0 placeholder for that. So you could think of if this had started with x to the 5th, then I would, definitely have some missing, so I'd have zeros in place. All right, at this point, we're going to carry out our synthetic. Bring down the first number. 2 times 1 is 2. Going to add minus 1. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. Add minus 1 again. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. Oh, I forgot to put this little dotted line because this is my answer for the division and this is the remainder. So what is the remainder in this one? And hopefully you get minus 3. And what that means is p of 2 equals minus 3. And it's a little bit shorter, less chance for error. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to check this by plugging in. Remember I said the old way was by plugging in the number, so p of 2 in this case would equal 2 to the third minus 3 times 2 squared plus 2 minus 1. So let's figure that out. 2 to the third is 8. 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 minus 1. So now let's figure that out. 8 take away 12 is negative 4. Plus 2 is negative 2. Minus 1 is negative 3. So I get negative 3 when I plug that in. I don't know if you noticed, but this method using synthetic, I didn't have to deal with the signs being tricky here or anything. It was a straightforward method. So synthetic ends up being quicker and a little bit safer in terms of making errors. So I want you to try solving these equations by using synthetic. And then remember that the answer is the remainder. So p of whatever you substitute in is equal to the remainder. And that's kind of an interesting fact. So hopefully you'll have luck with your homework. Take a try at it. So again, we're going to use the factor theorem and find out, is x minus 2 a factor of this polynomial? And we do that by using synthetic again. To find out what goes in the little box, remember you take x minus 2 equals 0, solve that, and you get x equals 2. So 2 goes in this little box. Do you remember what numbers to write across here? Coefficients, just the coefficients. So 1, negative 4, plus 5, plus 4, minus 12. Double check to see that the exponents go down in order. If there's a missing exponent, you put a 0 in one of these spots. All right? When you get ready to go, get ready for the remainder here. Now, if x minus 2 is a factor of this polynomial, will I get a remainder? No, because it divides evenly. So I'm going to just put a little 0 here. So I'm supposed to get a 0 for a remainder. If I get 0, or if there's no remainder, then my answer to this question, is x minus 2 a factor? My answer will be yes. So I have to answer either yes or no. Right? Let's figure it out. Here we go. Bring down the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Add. Negative 2. 2 times negative 2, negative 4. Add. Whoops. 2 times 1, 2. Add. 6. 2 times 6, 12. Add. 0. So, no remainder. Is that a factor? Yes, it is. So, there's how you do the next section. Okay, another example you're going to need synthetic for is this type of problem here. A root of the equation is 3. Solve the equation. Now, if you look at this, you can see that it has a third power as the highest degree. That means that there's 3 answers to this equation. And I'd like you to start out by putting an answer box right at the edge of your paper. And since this has 3 answers, I've got 3 spaces in my answer box. That way, sometimes if you get distracted and you're not sure if you're finished, you'll know when you have answers in all 3 spots that you're done. A root of the equation is 3. That's one of the answers. Now, what I have to do is find the other 2. Okay, so the root of the equation that was given was 3. So you'll notice I put 3 in the little answer box. And now I have to find the other 2 answers for that equation. So I'm going to use synthetic. The 3 up here. List the coefficients across here. Do you know what they are? 2, negative 5, negative 4, plus 3. All right, get ready for my answer. Now, what is supposed to happen here? If 3 is an answer to this, that means it's divisible into this polynomial evenly. Will I get a remainder? Hope you said no. Okay, no remainder because that's an answer. All right, so let's see what happens. What we're doing is depressing the equation. So bring down the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 and minus 5, 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Add. Minus 1. 3 times minus 1, minus 3. Add. I get a 0. So, yeah, 3 is an answer. Now, this equation, I can put the x's back in here and solve this equation. I started with a y to the 3rd. This is going to be a y squared. I think I said x, I meant y. 2y squared plus 1y minus 1 equals 0. Now, all I have to do is solve that to get the last 2 answers. Now, there's a number of ways I could use to solve this. One is factor. Not everything factors. If it doesn't factor, I could use quadratic formula. If I don't want to use quadratic formula, I could do complete the square. I could square root both sides. Sometimes if there's not even a variable squared, I can just plain old solve by adding and subtracting. So this one we're going to try to factor it first because that's usually the quickest method. Factors of 2y squared, 2y and y. Factors of minus 1. That's easy. 1 times 1 is 1. Now I have to have a minus and a plus. If I want a plus in the middle, my biggest multiply needs to be a plus. So 2y times plus 1 and y times minus 1. Do a little quick check in my head. Yep, those are factors. Now solve this. 2y minus 1 equals 0. 2y equals 1. Y equals 1/2. There's one answer. All right, what's the next one? Any thoughts? Yeah, set it equal to 0. Solve. Y equals minus 1. All right, there are my 3 answers. Now, I could check these answers by taking the original, change the synthetic here, and try a half and see if it works. Try -1 and see if it works. They should check out. All the factors should divide into that polynomial evenly. So, here's the solution. You get to try some now.